Hello everyone and welcome back to the plot. This week I've been working over on the second plot. I feel like I haven't done much over here in quite a while, so it's started to get quite weedy and overgrown. So this week I really focused on that, and I'm pleased to say I'm happy with the progress. I feel like it's looking so good now when we're almost ready for planting into it. So I'll show you what I got up to and I'll see you in a bit. This is how the plot was looking on day one. As you can see, a lot of weeds have sprouted, especially in the areas which hadn't been mulched or covered over. The larger bed at the back is probably the worst looking, and of course the side border and towards the fence is also pretty bad. So I started by working on the back bed, the largest bed that I have on the plot, and this is where I plan to put some larger perennial vegetables. At the moment I'm thinking rhubarb. I feel like an allotment plot is incomplete without a rhubarb plant. So I'm just chopping down and pulling out the annual weeds. Those will go in my compost bin, and all the perennial weeds I will be bagging up and binning. There's actually not too many perennial weeds in this bed, which is pretty good. The main issue on this plot is mare's tail. There's not too much bindweed actually, which is pretty good. All the bindweed is on my OG plot. So the edge of this bed marks the end of my plot. A couple of people have asked if the small polytunnel is part of my plot, but it's not. There's another small plot next to mine, so the edge of the bed marks the start of like our shared pathway. Me and the lady next to me have decided that next weekend we are going to finish weeding that path and wood chipping it together, which will be nice. It's funny because I didn't really speak to that lady very much last year because there was just a big black hole of plastic between us. We occasionally said hello over the plastic void, but now we see each other a lot more. So she has the small plot and polytunnel next to me. Then the large polytunnel I've mentioned is actually a communal polytunnel, so that's also not mine. Imagine having a polytunnel that big for yourself. It's crazy. And my new plot is basically a plot extension. It's not quite a half plot. I roughly measured it. It's roughly 8 meters by 6.5 meters, but it's kind of a bit of a rhombus shape because of the fence line. It's kind of the fence is coming in at a diagonal, so it's a strange shape, not quite a square, but it's roughly 8 meters by 6.5. So a plot extension. My current OG plot is roughly 12 meters by 6, which is your standard half plot size. So I've almost got a full plot, I think. Not quite. Anyway, I'm just going to use some of the old black plastic to temporarily cover over this big bed just to stop any more weeds popping up. I'm so sorry, Dodie. Day 2, and we are going to be tackling this area. What do I even say about this area? So I'm going to start by trying to reclaim this bed, or where I think I want to put a bed, and chop in this mess down. The comfrey has gone absolutely crazy in this corner as well, so I honestly don't know if I'm gonna try to keep battling it and dig it out or just leave it, because I did try and dig out a couple of clumps of it and it was so difficult. Comfrey has really deep roots and that's why it has such nutrient dense leaves and foliage, and that's why it's such a good crop, because it apparently pulls up all the nutrients from deep underground. So yeah, the roots are like big parsnips basically and they are really tough to get out. So I am still debating what to do with this bed, whether to shorten it or change the shape of it just so I can leave that comfrey patch grow. Yeah, so this whole plot is still a work in progress and I'm still trying to work out the layout and what would suit the area best. And there's lots of things that I could potentially put on this plot and change. And honestly, I spent a lot of time standing around and staring and thinking while I was here. But anyway, I chopped down this area, pulled out as many of the perennial weeds as possible. A lot of the bindweed is coming from my other plot. It's not in the ground here, it's just like tangling through the comfrey, coming from the other side. And yeah, any of the leaves and the bits of comfrey I chopped down, I laid on the beds just to add some nutrients. And you can see I am absolutely covered in those cleavers, the little sticky ball seeds. Absolutely covered. I knew that this is what I was going to tackle on this day, so I did wear full length leggings, long socks, long sleeves, because I knew I was just going to get stung and bitten and things were going to poke me and scratch me. Yeah, and I walked home absolutely covered in those cleavers. But yeah, after about an hour of cutting and pulling and weeding, I felt like it still looked so bad. There's just so much growth over here. But then, yeah, I did get a little bit carried away and started chopping down and pulling out things from the back of my OG plot as well. Yeah, so in this area there is a heck of a lot of bindweed and a heck of a lot of comfrey, and I'm still not sure what to do about any of it. Do I leave the comfrey, take over? Do I try and fight it? I don't know. I really don't know. Like I've said before, the comfrey does make quite a good barrier between the fence and my plots. But it does mean changing the shape of the bed I have planned. Not sure. Day 3 was a shorter visit, but I spent some time bagging up all of the perennial weeds that I just left lying around. So things started to look a lot better after these were out of the way. I know people are going to ask in the comments, why don't I just burn the perennial weeds? We can't burn stuff on the allotment site. It's not allowed. So the best I can do is just bag up the weeds and then take them home. I do have quite a few compost bags. I think there's about 5 now on the plot that need to be gone. They are hanging around for a little bit longer than I'd like, but at least the weeds are out of the way for now. Then I gave it another go. I tried to dig out a little bit more of the comfrey, and this one little tiny clump took me 15 minutes to get out. So it's just another reason why I don't want to fight the comfrey. It's just so much effort. We are almost ready for the fun jobs. The fun jobs being wood chipping. It's my favourite thing to do. We're almost there. But first I decided to tidy up this back corner. There's still some things left behind by the previous plot holder, and it was a scary job sorting them out because spiders. There were some old broken pots, a bucket, and a nice looking terracotta pot actually. There were some old broken tools and an old chair which I put in the swap area. But overall it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. There was a bramble poking through, so I tried to poke them back through the fence, and there were tiny bits of bramble sprouting this side of the fence, so I did spend some time digging those out as well. But this area doesn't actually look like it will be too much of a problem, which is good. No comfrey here, barely any nettles. Yeah. Okay, today is the last day I want to spend working on this plot this week because I've got loads to do over on the OG plot, and I feel like most of my time has been spent just standing and staring and thinking about things over here because yeah, there's just so many ideas and things that I could do with this space, and then I just keep thinking, oh, maybe I could change the shape of this bed or this bed and do this instead. And yeah, I've just spent the time standing and staring rather than rather than doing anything. But it's all part of the process, isn't it? So today I want to finish this patch here, get rid of there's a piece of polycarbonate and a little bit of a pallet, so I'll move those. Then I want to wood chip right up to the fence, and one of the decisions that I have actually made, and I know that I'm going to do, is actually put the compost bins down here rather than here. I was thinking about putting them over the other side, so when you're looking at this plot you can't see the compost bins, but it's going to be too hot over there because yeah, I've realised that compost bins kind of need to be in partial shade, otherwise they'll get just too hot. And yeah, so I'm going to put the compost bins over here. I'm not moving them today because that is a job I'm dreading. All I can think about is spiders, and also bindweed. There's bound to be bindweed in these bins, and it's just going to be a lot of effort to, oh god, there's some really big spider webs in there. I was also thinking about shortening this bed because the comfrey patch there is big, and digging out that one little piece of comfrey was so much effort, so I thought, am I really going to be able to dig all that comfrey out as well, just for the sake of having the bed this long rather than that long? But I think I do want to dig that comfrey out, and I'll probably do it in the autumn and winter, and potentially move the roots so they pop up over here instead, because they do a pretty good job at stopping the other stuff come through the fence. But yeah, I've just been thinking about all these things, and I don't know. Okay, we're going to get on with that. Definitely sort that corner out. Then wood chip along the back of this bed and all along here. Move the planks. Tidy up. If I have time, I will weed those two beds and cover them up. Right, let's go. Wow. Okay, the wood chipping is finally done. I need to tidy up, oh my gosh. I just wood chipped that little bit as well, just to see what it looked like, but I don't know what to do about this comfrey patch and the shape of this bed. Random wheel. Okay. All of this is wood chipped. I did put a board or two, well, 3 down to try and keep the wood chips in the path. I think it looks so much better, and it's obviously levelled out this, whoa, maybe not, I was going to say it's levelled out this area, but there is still a massive hole there. Now I need to move this compost bin because it just feels in the way. And what the hell? How are the nasturtiums still alive? Okay, let's tidy up, see where we're at. I don't know how much energy I actually have left to dig over these beds. Would be nice to do, but yeah, look at all the mare's tail and the cracked ground. Crazy. I am hungry, I want to go home, but okay, let's have a look around. One bed done the other month. Another bed done, but I really need to trim this grass and probably wood chip this path instead. I think it was wood chipped once upon a time, but yes, just a little overgrown at the moment. This needs weeding and digging over, and I'm going to put my strawberries in here, which is very exciting. Another one needs weeding and digging over. Obviously all of these need weeding and digging over, to be honest, but yeah, as and when I do that, I will put the beds together and then fill them with manure. Okay, so this area, this is basically my pile of stuff I don't know what to do with. In those compost bags, it's all mare's tail and bindweed. Somebody did ask what I do with the bindweed. I put it in there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of bindweed, and there's another basket of bindweed. That basket needs to go to the tip. This wheelbarrow, it was here, and it's useless because it's got holes in and a flat tyre and no wheel replacement, and it's rusty, and it says Yorkie on it. Don't know where it came from, previous owner, but anyway, somebody did suggest that I do it up, tidy it, repaint it, and use it as a flower wheelbarrow. I didn't know what to call it, which is actually quite a cute idea, so I'm keeping it in case I do decide to do that. There's a chair there which I don't really want, and then that's the water butt, the old water butt that I had by the greenhouse. It's got no lid and the tap is quite dodgy, so I might actually get rid of that or turn it into a planter and get new water butts for when the greenhouse is done. But anyway, then obviously this is the pile of weed sheets that I'm slowly getting rid of, cutting pieces up and putting them in black bags because it's frayed and horrible, and there's also loads of toads under there. Yeah, then there's just buckets of weeds, and there's a rose over there. So what I would like to do with this area is, obviously this is going to be the last thing I get to doing, but it's going to be a long flower border. I did think of having compost bins here, but changed my mind again. Long flower border, so it's not too wide because I need to leave a path the other side for the polytunnel, which also needs to be trimmed and cut back. Oh, I don't want to do it. Anyway, there's a rose here which I'm going to dig out, and I might put it like in the centre of the border, just up here, because it's right on the edge of the plot, and obviously it just looks, yeah, it looks like it needs some help, but yeah. Then I need to move this bin, and now that area. Oh, hello, Robin. Hello. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. You're so cute. Oh, I love them. Look at that big tail. You got a big tail. Anyway, I didn't move this pallet because I don't know if it's actually the next door lady's or actually mine. And there's a big pile of netting here, which I don't want to touch because I don't know if it's the ladies or not. But yeah, at least this bit is done. Nice open space. Compost bins. Got the last bit of cardboard and the comfrey patch. So little Robin's back. What are you doing? You're so cute. So cute. Okay, I'm gonna go home. I need lunch. I'm so hungry. I think I will come back and I will weed, dig over and mulch those 2 beds. That's going to be my goal for tomorrow. Anyway, I need to go home. Day 5, and I'm starting by weeding the 2 uncovered beds where there is nothing but mare's tail growing, which is quite unfortunate. So I'm just removing the top bit of the plant, and then I will go in later and dig it over, removing any of the roots that show up. Then I will cover with cardboard and mulch with the horse poop, and hopefully that will hold back the mare's tail. I managed to get quite a lot of the root out of the ground, so hopefully this bed will be probably not mare's tail free, but mare's tail reduced soon. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's there. Hello. I haven't seen a frog in so long. It's a little baby frog. He's... Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh, I need to build a new pond. Hello, little tiny frog. Hi. Okay, that has just thrown a massive spanner in the works. I've not found a frog in here for over a year. When I was clearing the very front of the plot back in, I don't know, March, April, that was the last time I found a frog. Always find toads, but never frogs. So, oh my gosh, I need a pond. I need a new pond, like a proper pond. Why don't I put it here? Oh no, I need to go home and think about things again. Gosh, it's really breezy to... So what is more important, compost or a pond? I mean, I know I have the bath over on the other plot, but that is one thing that has been bugging me quite a lot, because I find, well, it's overrun with the iris, it's really deep, and I just feel like it's not in the best position. So people will probably think I'm really weird, but I absolutely love frogs and toads and birds, and a pond will bring all these creatures in. Oh, I'm so happy to have found that little frog. I feel really bad for disturbing it though, but pond. Definitely need to make more hidey areas for the toads, frogs and toads. Okay, let's carry on. That one bed, that was 51 minutes of digging. 51 minutes. It's really windy. I've got a new microphone, by the way. You might have probably already noticed, but even this wind is probably too much for it. I've got a fluffy thing, shall I? There you go, maybe the fluffy thing's better. So that was 51 minutes of digging. I thought that I'd be able to do 2 beds, so I was hoping to do that one as well. So far I've done that, and not that. So that will be a job for next time, and we can definitely put those beds together then as well. I'm so tired. I need a break from digging, so I am going to do an experiment. I'm going to plant out a couple of pumpkins into the new space. I'm going to plant one. I might just plant one in the centre of there. Oh my gosh. We're having all the weather today. When the sun came out, it was too hot. Now it's too windy. Yeah, and I might put one there as well. So Let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna put, this is a Queensland blue. And yes, it looks terrible. It's very stunted. I really thought I had more pumpkins, but a lot of them have got slugged, which is quite unfortunate. So this patch I dug over, and I hope there's no toads in here because they do like going in here. So I dug it over and I put the horse poop down back in April, May. But the soil does need a lot of building up. It's just been covered over for so long. Well, the plot had been for about, I don't know, somebody did tell me, I think it's been about 4 years of nothing growing in here. So I think the soil is going to need a lot of work. So these first year pumpkins are going to be just an experiment. And then the plan is keep adding horse poop, mulch, compost, fertilizer, just using the soil basically to get some nutrients back in. So I'm just going to dig a hole, put some, how am I finding glass in here? There's so much glass and rubbish in here. Apparently my plot, the next man plot, the next man plot. There's how many of us on this side? There's 1, 2, 3, me, and this lady behind me. So this whole area where our plots are, it was kind of like waste ground. It hasn't been like too long since this area has been well used. There's been lots of owners apparently, but no one really did anything with it. So before me, there was a man who'd had it for at least 2 years and he'd had it covered over the whole time. Planted some random fruit bushes and trees around the edges, which I've dug up. So all of those are in my garden. So I dug them up, repotted them, and they're growing really well at home. So I've got 2 blueberry bushes. They still even had their labels on. I think they've just been like plonked in the ground and left. So 2 blueberry bushes, which I've had some blueberries off this year, even though I ripped them out and repotted them. There's also 1 cherry tree. It's a dwarf cherry. I think it only grows about 120 centimetres tall. I had no cherries off it this year. I wouldn't expect to because I'd ripped it up, ripped it out of the ground. Then there was also an apple tree. I think it's an apple tree because I actually found the labels when I was digging over there. I found a label for a Cox apple tree and a pear tree. So I think I've got the apple tree, not the pear tree, but I couldn't find the pear tree. Maybe that had gone. I know that when I was told I had this plot and the man was going to come and collect his tools, he did take a tree with him. So I don't know whether that was the pear tree or another cherry tree or something, because it was there and then when I finally got this plot, it was gone. So anyway, before that man, there was a couple who tried to do stuff with this plot and then nothing happened. And that was about 4 years ago. So yeah, all I've heard is that people have taken this on and failed, and good luck to me, basically. But I think I've made like pretty good progress in the last few months, even though I've kind of been focusing on my OG plot. And I do feel like if I hadn't have taken this plot on as well as work still bringing that plot together, I feel like that plot would have been much further along by now and I would have completed a lot more of the jobs that I wanted to do. But I don't know. I'm glad to have some more space over here though. So, right, this is, just stick that on there. This is the Queensland blue. Maybe it'll do something, maybe it won't, because as you can see, it's quite stunted. Let's move on. I am going to put a curry squash, a cheeky curry, red curry squash. I think I will make like a tripod for this to go on actually. So back to talking about this allotment site. There are 5 of us on this one little strip, but the actual site has, oh my god, hundreds and hundreds of plots. I am plot 3 and 5, and I honestly don't know what what the numbers go up to. There's lots of A and B plots. I'm at technically 3B and then plot 5. So we're kind of like in a little corner over here. So I don't know many people. There's probably maximum 10 people that I see quite regularly in this little area. Yeah, and it's really nice. So when I was choosing my original plot, I did get the choice of one plot which was the opposite end. It's a much busier end, and it was like a ready to go plot, really. I showed it on my first ever video. Ow, that hurt my knee. I showed it on my first ever video, and it was not as secluded as this plot and this part of the site. So yeah, I really like being here. And when I mentioned back in, it was the end of last year. I remember talking to the committee chairperson, and I said I really like allotmenting. I'm really enjoying it, and I'd really like a bigger allotment, or maybe I'd really like the plot next to me, because that I've never seen that person. If they leave, I'd really like it. And that was in, I think it was September or October last year. And yeah, I've just been manifesting having this extra space since then. So I'd only had my plot like 8 months, and then I already knew that I wanted more. Let's go over here. I'm going to plant another Queensland blue in here. I think I might just put it in the centre. There's lots of comfrey leaves in here that I've just been chopping and dropping. Oh no, I just noticed nasturtium seeds, so we're probably going to have nasturtiums popping up in here next year. So I waited for this plot to become available, and then another one came up over in like the centre of the site, and it was huge. She said I could have it, but it would mean giving up the plot that I'd already spent months on. So I don't know, it would have been a really nice plot because it was kind of on the edge. It had a shed, it had so much more space. It was probably bigger than these two put together, but I decided to turn that down and just wait for this to pop up. And then one day it was April, I think, the start of April, she said, oh, by the way, this man has left. Would you like it? Of course I did. I was expecting that I'd have to wait probably like a year or so. Yeah, I thought I would have to wait, oh my gosh, a lot longer than a few months, because for my original plot I was on the waiting list for a year and a half, which, I don't know, some people think that's ages, and then other allotment site waiting list has like 4+ year wait. So I think it was a year and a half was pretty fast, and then only 7 months for this plot extension to become available. So yeah, that is how I got this extra plot, and I'm very happy. If I had some more energy, which I do not anymore, I have 0 energy left, I would go and get some poop and put a couple of wheelbarrow loads on this bed, so it's kind of like done. But I don't have any energy left, so yeah, I guess this is it. I think we've made quite a lot of progress in the last couple of days. I'm very happy. Still loads to do, but we are getting there. So close. And here is a reminder of how things were looking just a couple of days ago at the start of the week. Lots of weeds and chaos. I'm so glad most of those weeds have gone, and I am looking forward to building up the soil in the beds and getting planting finally. This is how things are looking now. Still don't know about what to do over there, but I think things are looking a lot better. It's coming together, isn't it? Yeah, I'll make a decision on what to do with these beds soon at some point. Then I'll get those beds together and dig them over and fill them up with the horse poop. But yeah, lots to do, loads to think about, loads to plan, but it's coming together. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those YouTube things. I will see you again on Friday with a plot tour because I need to do work over there and show you what's grown and my massive sunflower. So yeah, see you Friday. Bye guys.